called IQ or other word G factor. And domain-specific abilities. IQ is a standardized measure that represents a person meaning skills or reasoning skills. It has been accepted in the psychological community that intelligence is not necessarily a single and generalized characteristic. So hindi lang siya mag-isa, but is comprised of a different specific traits. Thus, researchers have attempted to identify and measure further the different components of intelligence. One of the most famous work in this field is Howard Gardner's theory of 8 intelligences. Gardner's theory asserts that each person possesses a certain specific intelligence, where he/she is most probably good or skilled at. Following are the specific espoused by Gardner. So ito na yung theory ni Gardner about sa multiple intelligence. And we have 8. So the first one is verbal linguistic intelligence. It is characterized by the ability to think in words and use language to express meaning. Usually, people with this kind of intelligence have occupation as authors, journalists, speakers, and poets. So, ito yung mga intelligent na magaling sa public speaking, yung walang hiya, pwede ka mag-talk lang sa harapan, ganun yung mga verbal linguistic intelligence. So, next one is logical mathematical intelligence. It refers to the ability to handle long chains of reasoning, the ability to carry out mathematical operation, and the sensitivity and capacity to discern logic or numerical pattern. Most people with this skill become scientists, engineers, accountants, or mathematicians. So yung dito, yung sports na logical mathematical is yung chess. Yun yung best example ng mathematical intelligence. So the next intelligence is spatial visual intelligence. It implies the ability to think in images, pictures, or three-dimensional figures, as well as the capacity to perceive the usual spatial accurately and perform transformations one one's initial perceptions. People with these skills often work as architects, artists, tailors, navigators, artists, or sculptors. So dito sa spatial na to, mas nakaka-learn sila sa drawing. Diba dito, mas nakaka-learn sila sa vocal. Yung dito, mas nakaka-learn sila sa picture. So mas magaling sila sa pag-drawing. So the next one is the bodily kinesthetic intelligence. So it is the ability to be physically adept at manipulating objects, controlling one's bodily movements, and handling objects skillfully. Most people with this type of intelligence include surgeons, craft people, artisans, dancers, or athletes. So dito, katawan yung ginagamit nyo as your intelligence. Like me, gusto ko talaga, my talent is dancing. So yun yung intelligence ko, doon ako magaling. So the next one is the musical rhythmic intelligence. So it refers to the sensitivity to pitch, melody, rhythm, and tone. The ability to produce and appreciate rhythm, pitch, and timbre, and the appreciation of the forms of the musical expressiveness. People with musical intelligence usually end up as composers, musicians, or sensitive listener. So dito sa musical rhythmic intelligence, so dito mas magaling sila sa kanta, sa pagkanta, sa mga tono, sa ganun. Alam mo yung mga sumasali sa mga sa mga speech choir, ganun, doon sila. So the next one is interpersonal So, mas magaling sila doon. Mas magaling silang kumilaki sa mga halaman, mga magawa ng mga magtanim-tanim, ganon. Yun yun. And that's all for the Gardner's theory of multiple intelligence. And the next reporter will be Geraldine Ortega, and he will gonna report, she will gonna report the effects of the environment. So,
Jane Uraz, and now we're going to report our topic. It's all about contributors to intelligence. So, two factors, heredity and the environment, contribute to intelligence and personality. Heredity refers to the genes one inherits from his or her parents, which provide the upper and lower limits of his or her intelligence quotient. This is the raw biological materials and intelligence. The environment involves the experiences and the psychological and physical exposure of the individual to the various influence and around him or her. The home, school, and community, as well as the things happening therein, and examples of one's environment. One can say that heredity is more important factor than environment, or the environment is more important than heredity. It is the vain result that heredity and environment both interact to contribute to intelligence and personality.
Hi, I am Bernadette Arthur Bacan, and I am the one who tackle about motivation. So, motivation is the force that moves people to behave, think, and feel the way they do. Motivated behavior is energized, directed, and sustained. It may be said that aside from heredity and environment, motivation is also significant influence in personality development. Psychologists approach the concept of motivation by putting forward theories that seeks up explains the levels of motivations of individuals, some of which are as follows. Letter A, evolutionary theory. Evolutionary theory, according to this theory, the motivations for sex, achievement, aggression, and other behavior is rooted in the organism's evolutionary past. Thus, if a species is highly competitive, it is because such as competitiveness has improved its chances of survival, and it is then passed down through genes from generation to generation. So let's proceed to letter B, which is reduction theory. This theory explains that organisms are driven by psychological needs. A need energizes one drive to eliminate or reduce the deprivation. For example, if one is hungry, hunger is motivator for him or her to look for food and eat it to reduce the drive and satisfy the need. This theory stresses the idea that as drive becomes stronger, the individual becomes more motivated to reduce it. However, people tend to behave in ways that increase rather than reduce the drive. This theory did not hold much for comprehensive framework. So letter C, optimum arousal theory. The Yerkes-Dodson law states that performance is at its higher under conditions of moderate arousal rather than high or low arousal. With a low arousal, one might be too lazy or unwilling to perform the task. With a high arousal, one might not be able to complete or performing the task. For example, when taking an exam with very high arousal, a student may not be able to complete. On the other hand, if the arousal is too low, he or she may not work fast enough to finish the task. Thus, moderate arousal is often the best in dealing with tasks. At times, the level of arousal may also depend on the kind of task on hand. For example, in solving mathematical problem, a lower level of arousal is prepared because one spends more time to solve it even if the process takes longer. In contrast, a task to push a button exactly at a specified time requires a higher level of arousal. So let's move forward to letter D, which is cognitive approach. Cognitive approach, the contemporary view of motivations, emphasizes that cognitive factors determine motivation level. An example is a student motivation to do well in class. One confidence in his or her ability to do well and the expectations for success may help the person relax, concentrate, and study better. Thinking too much about not performing in class and the fear of failure may lead to anxiety and consequently not performing well. One's conscious effort and ability to control his or her behavior, like setting study plan or avoiding going to parties, will improve performance, as well as the ability to use the information processing abilities of attention, memory, and problem solving.
Hello, I'm Geraldine Ortega. So, sa D, meron itong two types of cognitive approach, the intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic, inherent, or internal. Yung intrinsic motivation naman, external or not inherent. Self-determination, curiosity, challenge, and effort. The latter includes outside factors such as reward and punishment. As such, some students study hard because they are internally motivated to exert a considerable amount of effort and achieve a high quality of work. Other students study hard because they want to have good grade or avoid parent disapproval. Some psychologists contend that many successful individuals are both intrinsically and intrinsically motivated. Intrinsically and extrinsically motivated. By Central 2003, individuals have a choice to be highly motivated, especially when it comes to performance. Select which sources will you help you sustain and maintain your motivated level. So likewise, you should be able to enjoy like activities that you do but avoid engaging in risky behaviors like taking illegal drugs, drinking, liquor, or smoking. That's all for my part. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Leah Jane Subur from BEd 1B. And ang tatalakayin natin ngayon is emotional intelligence about EQ and IQ. So, let's start. So, EQ, emotional quotient or EQ. Emotional intelligence is the ability to identify, access, and control the emotion of others and oneself and groups. Ang EQ or ang emotional intelligence ay tumutukoy sa kakayahan ng isang tao na maunawaan ang kanyang sariling emosyon at sa iba. So, ang IQ naman, sinasabi nga dito, no, is a score derived from several standard tests to access intelligence. So, dito is, tumutukoy dito ang ability ng isang tao na mag-isip tulad ng paglutas ng problema, pangatwiran at kanyang memorya. So, sa emotional intelligence, meron tayong listening and may dalawa tayong listening, deduction and induction. So, deduction begins with making a general assumption that is known or believed to be true. So, induction ay nagsisimula ito sa isang pangkahalatang prinsipyo o katotohanan at pagkatapos ay nagbibigay ng mga particular na conclusion. Ang halimbawa dito is lahat ng aso ay hayop. Si Sparky ay aso, kaya si Sparky ay hayop. So, ang conclusion dito is tiyak na totoo kasi si Sparky nga is aso. Pupunta naman tayo dito sa induction. Is a process in which a conclusion is determined based on a number of true permission. So dito, nagsisimula ito sa mga particular na obserbasyon o ebidensya at pagkatapos ay nagbibigay ng isang pakalatang konklusyon. So ang halimbawa dito is, nakita kong umuulan sa 3 araw na pagkasunod-sunod kaya malamang nauulan bukas. So ang konklusyon nito ay maaaring totoo, ngunit hindi tiyak. Kasi nga, sabi nga dito, nakita kong umuulan sa 3 araw na pagkasunod-sunod kaya malamang umuulan bukas. Hindi naman tiyak kasi hindi naman natin malalaman kung uulan ba talaga. So, ang difference lang sa deduction and induction is ang deduction is tiyak na resulta. And sa induction naman is hindi tiyak.